All right, we'll call the December CUB Board of Directors meeting to order. First order of business is the swearing in of new board member Rob Harrell. Rob, welcome to
Thank
CUB.
you.
If you would, just stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Rob Harrell,
I, Rob Harrell,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Director of the Clinton Utilities Board
of Director of the Clinton Utilities Board
of the City of Clinton, Tennessee,
of the City of Clinton, Tennessee,
which office I am about to assume,
which office I'm about to assume.
and that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the State of Tennessee.
and the state of Tennessee.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right, that's it.
All right.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Stephen, I'm gonna get that and I'll leave that.
Oh, yeah.
You can sign.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is public comment, and we have no one here for comment, so we will move on and entertain a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
So moved.
Motion from Mr. Combs. Do we have a second?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That moves us to the approval of vouchers. Entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, vouchers carry. That moves us to approval of monthly reports for October.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're happy to still be all in the black and everything that we've got, and I think Dusty, you've got a few words you want to say on that.
Yeah. Thanks, Greg. Just a quick electric update. In October and November, we experienced warmer weather compared to the same months last year and the 15-year averages. October was approximately 1 degree warmer, while November saw an increase of nearly 6 degrees above the 15-year average. A lot of times we only see 1 or 2 degrees. 6 degrees is pretty significant. As a result of the milder weather, our total operating revenue experienced a slight decrease in October compared to the same month last year. However, our operating expenses also declined, leading to a positive net margin of $45,930 for the electric department in October. Despite the warmer temperatures this month, the electric department has exceeded forecasts by approximately $940,000 through the month of October. Water and Sewer Department continues to perform well with a net margin of $51,139 for October, meeting forecasts through October of this year. Does anybody have any questions about those?
Just a quick question. So you said November temperatures were up too?
Yes.
So I assume that doesn't probably bode well for November potential numbers?
Potentially.
Potentially.
We're not real sure.
Well,
yet,
given the relativity to where October was and it's only 1 degree versus the
Right.
6 degree change, it could be, okay. So that may be a little bit of a
Right.
bump next month.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to point out that water and sewer they're not the slaves of weather like electric is. And after 4 months, the net difference between what was forecasted and what was actual was $500. And I think that is a significant improvement over who we had in that office before Dusty.
I'm not watering my yard in November, so the income is going to go
You know,
way
we
down.
ought to talk about that too, because I had to water mine, and we do a cutoff at the end of October, and that pushes everything out. So one day I'll bring that up one time, but not tonight.
I assume that variance is Steve Combs' house, isn't it? Since it's positive.
You know, I'm sorry, I'm not paying any attention to you, so I just missed all of that.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
All right, any other questions about the reports?
Real quick before you move on, I wanted to give some update. We talked last month about some potential cost saving opportunities on the pension plan.
Yeah.
So as we discussed in our last meeting, we requested that USI review our plan to identify potential cost savings. I'm pleased to share that USI has made several recommendations that will positively impact the plan. The most significant recommendation from USI is to switch to institutional share classes for our investment portfolio. This change, moving from the legacy share classes to the institutional or lowest cost share classes, will reduce the net expense ratios and thereby increase the investment income for the plan. Additionally, USI recommends adjusting our allocation by decreasing domestic equity and fixed income investments by 2% each and increasing alternatives by 4%. I've included a copy in the supplemental information on your board book. A copy of the investment policy statement in your supplemental materials, which will be updated to reflect these changes. No board action is required to implement this adjustment. The other recommendation we will discuss later in the meeting involves transferring our trustee custodian services from Truist Bank to Charles Schwab Bank. Schwab can provide these services at approximately a 75% lower cost than Truist. Overall, we estimate these changes will result in savings of around $45,000 to the plan.
Thank you for that follow-up.
Yep.
Any other questions or discussion? A motion?
So moved.
Motion, and we need a second.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor for approving the monthly reports as stated, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Brings us to project status reports.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As in electric, you can see that we're now following 4 work orders and I think all of these are within our budget. And Todd, you're right on top of all of this. You want to share with where we are on these?
Yes, sir. Be glad to. Thank you. Yes, as Greg mentioned, we've got 4 capital projects that are within our budget this year that we're currently tracking. The first of those you'll see there is one out of AEC Aerial Cable over in Stony Fork, which we're relocating that line to out to the road, single phase line, upgrading it for more capacity and reliability in that area. That project's going very well, went very well, now completed with that project in November as scheduled. The second one on the list there is a upgrade over in the New River area over there. Another one where we're relocating from off the road, getting to the road, and larger conductors there again for more capacity and also reliability to get into the road. We just began construction that last month, but so far it's going well, and we expect that one to be completed by the end of February. The third one on the list there is 336 AEC feeder upgrade on Granite Road, where we are upgrading that feeder, which was built in the 60s, I believe, with larger conductors in that area for increased capacity, and again relocating it from off the road along the road for better reliability. And also, this is the first phase of this project, which will be a 2-phase project, which will make a connector doing Highway 25W over to the Sulphur Springs Road for our automated Flizzer system, can tie through there. We just began construction on that project this week, but we expect it to be completed by the end of April there. And the final one on the list there is the Mr. Hollingsworth subdivision up there. This is the final phase of that development, the planned unit development portion of it, which is the portion between Sinking Springs and Highway 61 that you kind of see if you drive up that way in there, which is still kind of a area under construction there. Mr. Hollingsworth signed all the contracts on that. We've ordered all the materials are here in place, and we're just waiting for them to kind of finish their portion of that. They're installing the conduits, the pedestals, and the vaults and all that. As soon as they get those in, then we'll come back to pulling the conductors, set transformers, and finish that portion of it. So that one we thought would be going here early, but we're just kind of been waiting on them. I expect it sometime here after the first of the year now to be kind of going on that project. So any questions on any of those?
Joe's still involved in that? It's not D.H. Horton doing it?
D.H. Horton is building the homes. And my understanding, all the single-family homes across Sinking Springs, Joe has now sold all those lots to them. They're closing it. I think the portion here, he is still the owner of this portion, doing all the development. I think the way I understand it is once he does that, everything's in place, it's ready to build. He then sells the lots to D.R. Horton, and they come in and actually build. My understanding, they want a ready turnkey, ready to go. All they got to do is start, putting footers in the ground. Any other questions?
Water and sewer. Greg, you're on top of this. This is this downtown streetscape project, and we're looking forward to getting that in the rear view mirror. But that's going to be a long time before that happens. You want to mention anything on that, Greg? I know you just had a meeting on that at pre-construction conference.
Yes, the first week in December, we had a pre-construction conference at City Hall with all the parties involved, TDOT, city, us, contractor, and they are scheduling to begin construction activities after the holidays. So in the February timeframe, they plan on probably start digging. January, they'll be mobilizing. So that's the plan as it stands now, depending on material delivery dates.
They're going to work on the utility part first. We'll be glad to get our part out of the way, because there's this. It's going to be a long, drawn-out project. It'll be great, I think, when it's finished, and we're excited to get what is probably 70, 80 years old. Some of this stuff in the ground replaced. I think it's going to really take us into the future in a very good way with reliable infrastructure in the ground. But all that said, it's going to be a mess for quite some time for those folks down there. I'm looking forward, and I know Greg is, to get us out from under all of that. Say, go with it.
Is this part of the TAP grant? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, and ARPA money.
Okay.
So it sounds like downtown's gonna be, a little bit uneasy between February and June. So for folks traveling downtown, there's probably gonna be some,
They're going to have to
potential
come in from the
closures.
back, really to get in a lot of those shops.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lean year.
So Market Street will be closed for some long period.
Yes, sir. I think they'll try to work it as much as they can to minimize, but the minimization will be minimal.
I'm sure the property owners down there appreciate this coming in.
Well, they're looking forward to the end result.
Yeah.
You really have. We had when we have breaks down there. It's a line that is so old. It predates us by 40 and 50 years. I mean, CUB didn't take over until the 60s.
Yes,
So
clay. The sewer is clay.
there were horses walking on top of the ground where that pipe is still being used right now.
It's a Roman aqueduct over there.
That's
Okay, any other information or questions?
that's all I have on that project status, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. We don't need a motion since all those projects already been approved. So we'll move forward to approval of purchase order.
We have one purchase order for a large dump truck. And this is in our water department. It was also in our budget, and we thought we were going to be in a much more difficult place in terms of cost. But we were very happy with the bid came in, and it was only one. And as you can see, we had 6 bidders that did a no bid. But Thompson Truck Group gave us a bid on an international for the third quarter of next year at $146,000. We had budgeted $225,000. So we're very pleased with that. We're replacing a truck, 2004 model that they're not making parts for anymore. You can believe that. And we've salvaged all we can. So we're looking forward to trying to hold that thing together because it's very important within our water and sewer department as we use that. But it is so antiquated. It's a Chevrolet, and they don't support the service. The parts are for the engine. So we're looking to hold on till the third quarter of next year, and we'll get this international harvester in. And I recommend that the board approve the lowest and the best bid received from Thompson Truck Group for $146,422.46.
Did any of the other bidders say why they didn't bid?
They just don't. They don't.
They just
And we
didn't say.
try to get a response from them. It's different than automobiles. They'll send us something in, but it would be to the sky.
Yeah.
You know, we were pleased and we think it's a very competitive bid, or we would refuse this one and then wait and go out again later.
Sure. All right, entertain a motion.
So much.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. That takes us to what we talked about, what Dusty gave us a preview of earlier.
Yes.
Transitioning
I think Dusty, you want to speak to this?
Yeah, I'll just, I'll add a little more to what I talked about earlier. So the item on your agenda to move trustee custodian services from Truist Bank to Charles Schwab Bank aligns with one of the recommendations USI discussed. Currently, we are paying approximately 21 basis points to Truist for their trustee services, which amounts to around $20,456 annually. Due to USI's relationship with Schwab and our asset value, Schwab has agreed to provide CUB trustee services at around 5.5 basis points annually, or about $5,826. This change would result in annual savings of around $15,000.
If there are no questions on that, I think the combined savings now from what we talked about earlier at 45 with this 15, you know, as you add that up, that we're looking at about a 60,000 annual savings in that. So it was worth going through the process to try to ferret out better cost and all of this. And we have a great relationship with Truist. The president is on, you know, I chair East Tennessee Economic Development Agency, 15 counties, and he's on my board. I think a lot of him, but I don't think $15,000 of him to let that roll. And Schwab is great, and they've got a great relationship with USI, and I'm real pleased. The trustee, there's not much that they have to do but write a check every month or so, and they'll do that for $5,800 as opposed to 15,000. So or 20,000. So I'm going to recommend that the board approve this change and to authorize the general manager to execute the agreement between CUB and Charles Schwab Bank.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. We got a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the motion as stated, say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. It takes us down to other business.
Yes, sir. And just two quick things. This week we met with Bert Robinson, and he's the newly appointed East Regional Executive for TBA. And because we wanted an update on where we are on the Bull Run site, we try to keep our thumb on the pulse of that as much as we can. We've got a great relationship. Bert, he used to be in government relations. TVA likes to upend the apple cart, you know, about, it seems like every 6 or 8 months, and they change the names around with the positions. So they get, I'd like to keep the thumb on who is ever going to be over the demolition, and again, then the going forward with the industrial site there at Bull Run. Had a lot of good response from that, and that's progressing right on target, and I think we can see some activity over there probably by the second quarter of next year. We'll start seeing some things getting moved. So that's great.
There's a lot of junk piled up where the coal pile used to be.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Old trees and stuff. Yeah.
All that's going to get moved. That's either going to have to start taking down the stacks, you know, and that's going to be interesting. They said to me, well, because I told them I wanted to mow over it. I wanted to where we mow the grass over everything. And they said, well, you know, if we could leave those stacks up there, it would be great for us. And you could have it as a, you know, it would be, you know, you could put the name of the industrial park on there or something like that. I told them, I want to mow over this. I don't want stacks up there because they're going to fall down, you know, sooner or later. And then it's going to be us have to deal something with it. So no, knock them down. So that's what they're going to do. As you know, CUB is staffed and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We can attest to that because we were here Christmas Eve and Christmas during Winter Storm Elliott, along with all of our guys outside. But I spoke with Roger at the city, and he informed me that he plans to close their offices on Tuesday and Wednesday, which is the 24th and the 25th for the Christmas holidays. And unless this board objects, I intend to close the main offices here at CUB on Tuesdays and Wednesday as well. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Alright, any comments or objections to the other business that the general manager provided? Okay, we'll go around the horn and see if anybody has anything. We'll start down here. Mr. Crowley, anything? Mr. Clapp? No.
No, sir.
The TVA, you said you wanted them to, we could mow it.
Mhm.
What role will CUB have in that property?
CUB's going to have a lot because I want all of that. I want all of that under the auspices of CUB in order to direct and build an industrial park. I want a regional industrial park there. And there's a lot of people that would like to get their hands into that. Nobody has the track record or the experience that CUB has.
CUB buy it then?
No, we'll work with the county. I assume that it'll eventually, probably historically, what TVA has done is leasing. So we'll get a lease, for 50 or 75 years, and that's what we'll go out and push it. It changed a little bit when TVA is going to put synchronous generation out there, and also this Project One on this vision for, which is really exciting. So there is going to already be an established structure there. Part of that structure they want to keep, and I've talked to them about that I really wanted upgraded it because in order for us to present in an industrial park, we want everything looking really nice, and I don't want a 1960 facade on a building out there. And they assure me that all that's going to happen. Again, I've had discussion with the TVA board. I've had a lot of discussion with Jeff Lyash, the CEO, and I've had each one down the line, the vice presidents, one that's in charge of demolition and one that is in charge of John Bradley, who I had a relationship for 25 years through economic development. I was the conduit between Tennessee Valley Public Power Association, representing 153, and TVA, and where we interfaced on economic development. A lot of these plans and projects and programs that TVA has as a result of the collaboration between us. Very big on economic development. I chair EDA and I chair ACETA, so economic development, we understand that we've got very successful industrial parks here. So my thing is, who better than CUB to rawhide this regional industrial park? I pushed and worked with the mayor, Terry Frank, great partner in the vision of going forward in the county, which got her over a year ago talking to the governor and TDOT, which has now got us our expansion on Edmore Road, which we've needed since the Orange route years and years ago. What we'd like to see is that pushed out all the way to 81. I like it, 81 and 40 through Pellissippi to connect, So using the leverage of this, and I hope to get to all of that, and how we form up this, because it's going to affect significantly this whole region if it's planned out right and we get the right people in there. So yeah, we're very much got our thumb on that pulse.
Good question. Last thing I'd like to say is thanks for the invite to the Christmas lunch. Food was great. It's my first time going, and I got to meet several of the folks over in Water and Sewer that I'd never met before, so it was good chatting with some of the people, and I guarantee I won't miss it again because that
Great.
food was real good.
Thank you.
All right, well, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Motion carries. We're adjourned.